Welcome to class number 2 of virtual real estate, how to hold and market successful virtual open houses, virtual showings, and more. So appreciate all of you joining today. All right, so let's get going and I'll give you an update and we'll talk about what's going on and talk about this week's topic, which is all about marketing your virtual open houses and showings. So let me get the PowerPoint going. All right, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Todd Sumney, the Chief Industry Officer for HomeSmart International, and really appreciate you all joining on the panel today. And everything we're doing here is about how to help all of you do more transactions, serve more buyers and more sellers, especially in light of what we are all facing together in these economic times as well as these social times with many of the restrictions that are being placed on many of us. Hence why we need to talk about virtual marketing. And I like to start off every session talking about opportunities. And what are the opportunities? Last Friday, we talked about an awful lot of opportunities. And since then, there's been a whole lot of feedback coming back from a lot of you. One of the meetings I was in, someone wrote a quote that said, hey, social distancing does not mean relationship distancing. Spend time with others any way you can. Loved that quote. Wanted to make sure I included that one for all of you. One of my other realtor friends in Indiana posted this one. I thought it was pretty. He said, basically, this is pretty on point right now. I had a Prince little gathering. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. So in light of everything that's going on now, the next one here I want to start. I'm going to maybe get a couple of you happy and a couple of you might not be so happy, but I thought it was pretty interesting and pretty encouraging. 2020 is still our year. The first quarter doesn't dictate the final score. Ask the 49ers. That was from Tim Ray, our broker in Kansas City. So hopefully I didn't upset too many people with that one, but I like to have some smiles in the midst of everything that's going on. And for me, it's encouraging when you look at it that way. The first quarter doesn't indicate the final score. It's very true. So anyway, one thing I do want to highlight real quick, just a reminder for everyone, the National Association of Realtors has created a website for all of us called nar.realtor/coronavirus. And it's a site of helpful resources and information there for all of you. Please, if you haven't checked out that site yet, it even has information about the SBA CARES Act and the Small Business Administration loans, which there have been so many questions coming in from all of you. And this site is constantly being updated with the most recent information. So this is a great place to check this out. So anyway, nar.realtor/coronavirus. So last week on Friday, we started to talk about if you can, a social media post that someone had posted and kind of set the stage for this entire virtual real estate webinar series, that if you can host choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. And it's so true. We in real estate need to move our business virtual, and this is going to become socially accepted. It's already happening so quickly. And just in the last couple of days then, MLSs have started to come on board. I'm going to do a short little recap for all of you that missed the first training. You can now, in many MLSs, designate virtual open houses and virtual showings, which you can indicate them in the MLS. And then when agents search the MLS, your listing will have a blue icon next to it that says virtual, which will then show that it is a virtual showing or that it can be available for a virtual open house. So last Friday, we set the stage for moving everything virtual. An example up on the screen right there, you have a showing being done on an iPad via FaceTime or via Zoom. And you've got the home buyers, the potential home buyers agent, the seller's agent, and the seller actually walking through the home, giving a virtual tour. So we talked about what we all need to do together. We talked about some of the upcoming marketing that we're creating, like now offering live virtual open houses on Google Meet, on FaceTime, on Zoom, on some of the different software. We talked about the different definitions that we need to all start using, about the differences between typical open houses and now virtual open houses, virtual showings, etc. And so I included those slides here for those that didn't see last Friday's class. You'll have them then in the PDF. And we talked about different software types. We have Zoom, we have FaceTime, we have GoToMeeting, all different kinds of software. Tomorrow, we're going to be training you on step-by-step on how to do all of those different software types to be able to host these virtual tours. The concept was that we begin to market it and create some marketing, and that someday soon, HomeSmart is the first company in the nation to offer live virtual showings en masse, live virtual open houses en masse, and nationwide a live virtual open house weekend, which we will pick that weekend once we all get adept at doing this, and we can all do this nationally across the country. So this is the goal. This is what we're working toward, is that someday we can do a virtual open house weekend. So here's your first new social media graphic. This graphic right here was created by the marketing team. Virtual open house weekend coming soon. When we pick a date, it will be coming, and we will get that back out to you. But in the meantime, you can all start to market this as we move toward this together. And also then as we create these new marketing pieces. So right here, what's the overall strategy that we're trying to do as a company? We're going to teach you how to do this. All of you need to try it and implement it. Many of you just since Friday have already done that over the weekend. So exciting to see all the different posts that are happening over social media about how many of you are practicing and actually putting this into place into business in your area. And then as we practice it and we use it, we get better, we become experts, and then we as a company lead the way in the industry. I started a contest on Friday. I was talking about how many of you are all in on real estate. I posted up 7 different things that I wanted you all to try to do. And if you completed 4 of them, you could enter the contest in our private Facebook group on Facebook, Smart Agent Ideas, which is a HomeSmart only private Facebook group. All you have to do is go to Facebook, put Smart Agent, all one word, in the search bar, and Smart Agent Ideas will come up. Ask to join the group. For those of you that already joined the group, then you just need to go in there and say you're all in and tell me that you've done 4 out of the 7 items, and then you're entered to win. So what I was so surprised about was immediately how many of you joined Smart Agent Ideas Facebook page on Friday. Thank you to the marketing team and the agent services and the franchise services team who accepted all those invitations and got all of you in there. And I just wanted to highlight some of the posts that happened just over the weekend that I just thought was so awesome, and I want to share them with all of you. I'm all in on virtual real estate. Gerald, posted about virtual reality, tips of being professional in a virtual world, and he created a virtual video. And then several other agents, I'm all in on virtual. Kathy McDermott talked about virtual, yes, just sold that concept on a listing appointment. So it was so exciting to see all of this implement, or for all of you to start to implement this. And we're going to build on that right now and talk about this week's session, which is how to market. One last little positive, encouraging email. Felice Katzbobo up in Lakeside, Arizona, sent over this email this morning and talked about Troy Brown up in Lakeside, Arizona, who already had a virtual showing and had already converted into a transaction. This is basically given the current COVID-19 conditions, which resulted in the purchase offer, rather. Resulted to all whom it may concern, he talked about given the current COVID-19 conditions in which we all endeavor to remain safe and provide top-level service to our clients, my team and I have discovered a simple and highly effective method to show homes on a virtual platform for increased safety of all involved. Today marked a new approach to showing properties on a virtual platform that will be incorporated into my team's processes and systems moving forward, even post-COVID-19. After successfully showing 3 homes, I was able to write an offer for my clients who are over 3 hours away from the actual properties, adhering to our governor's social distancing measures. Technology and fortitude made it all possible. Troy Brown, realtor and author, HomeSmart Professionals up in Lakeside. So first off, Troy, everybody give Troy a round of applause. So excited, and just wanted to share your good news and encourage everyone that if we all do this together, we will take real estate virtual. We will still conduct business even in the midst of the restrictions that we're all facing, because buyers and sellers do still need real estate. And I just want to commend all of you who've already taken the step. And a couple other key ones to share with you. Jillian Harris and Tyson Harris up in Oregon with Lillian K. Lillian, if you're listening, I'm so impressed with everything you're doing up there in Oregon, even in the midst of the restrictions. All of your social media posts just showing how you are still conducting business and moving your business virtual as well. Chris Lardy out in California. This is a photograph of his, on the left, of his virtual closing, or his quarantine style closing. He had the two buyers all 8 feet away down at one end of the table. There was hand sanitizer in the middle, and everyone wore gloves and masks, and the closing person doing the closing docs was 8 feet away down at the other end of the table. And then he posted this as well. One of his wonderful families moved in. So they've been 3 weeks into, the shelter in place, but Chris is still doing business. Lardy Real Estate Group on Instagram. Go follow them and just watch what they're doing. And all of us, we can do this together if we just keep on moving forward. So today's class number 2. Apologize, I needed to set that stage again and remind everybody what the overall picture is. Class number 2 here is about marketing. How do we market virtual properties? Now, whenever we're marketing a traditional property prior to COVID-19, our job was to promote listings, to dazzle customers, to hold open houses, to hold great events, and then to convert that. And when we talk about specifically open houses, we would talk about the things we would have to do before marketing, the things we would have during or at the open house, and then what we would do actually after. And the bottom line is, if we did that correctly, we had more transactions. We helped more buyers and sellers. So I'm going to give you some bullet points here today, 6 tactics that we need to implement in our business to be able to market these homes. So if you're taking notes, please do. I hope you're ready. Number 1, the first thing that we all have to do together is we have to use consistent verbiage. How to market virtual, we have to use consistent verbiage. So I want you all to adopt these phrases: live virtual open house, or live virtual open houses, live virtual showings, live virtual realtor tours, and live virtual listing appointments. So if you remember the other day, we talked about the terminology that we all needed to use and the definitions that the MLSs are giving these different types of terms. And the thing is that if we just say virtual tour, if we just say open house, those are what the customers are used to. Even if we use the term virtual open house or virtual showing, I've polled so many different people, and I asked them, what do you think of when I say virtual showing? And they think of, oh, those are the pre-recorded virtual tours we've done forever. The difference is we need to say live virtual open house, a live virtual showing, which are the new categories the MLSs are giving these new types of marketing tools for us to use. Live virtual realtor tours, where 20 realtors are going on a virtual tour together, just the same way we used to do a caravan. And a live virtual listing appointment. By the way, I keep seeing some notes coming in on the chats about never got the link for the slides from last week. I didn't get a chance to turn them into a PDF. We are going to be emailing them out to both attendees from week 1 and week 2 right after this class. You'll get both sets, class 1 and class 2, of the PDFs, as well as several of the other links, okay? So, and a live virtual listing appointment. Now, I want to build upon it a little bit, because this is about marketing, and we need to be marketing these properties to realtors and to consumers. And in order to not make them instantly think of the previous type of virtual tours that were pre-recorded, the verbiage that we need to use here is for live virtual showings is, hey, imagine this being a social media post. Tour this home live from the comfort of your own home. Call or text the number on the yard sign to set up a live virtual showing via Zoom or FaceTime. Or tour this home live via Zoom or FaceTime from the comfort of your own home. So we need to start incorporating these words. Instead of surfing your TV for movies, tour this home live from the comfort of your own home. And then use this for both live virtual showings, live virtual open houses, live realtor tours, etc. So you'll notice that these are actually two different slides. One is talking about, a yard sign in front of a house. Text the number on the yard sign to set up your live virtual showing via Zoom or FaceTime. But here, this is now call or text the number to see this home during our live virtual open house or via Zoom or FaceTime. Or for a social media post, tour this home live from the comfort of your home. Sorry, I didn't change the text correctly. It should be said, call or text me to see this home during our live virtual open house via Zoom or FaceTime. So the concept is that we need to use these terms and use them over and over again for the different types of things we're trying to do. Virtual showings, virtual tours, virtual listing appointments, and virtual realtor tours. So again, ingrain these 4 terms in your heads: live virtual open houses, live virtual showings, a live virtual realtor tour, and a live virtual listing appointment. And that way, when we go into the MLS and we describe our property, these are the terms then that we need to use inside the MLS as we market the property. So another thing, Zoom, incorporating the word Zoom into your verbiage. Like, I have this vision someday when we all can actually be out and about again, that we're going to be wearing t-shirts just the same way Troy said he's going to keep this in his business even after COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. So I see the phrase of, hey, do you Zoom? Ask me about live virtual showings and live virtual open houses from the comfort of your own home. Do you see how you can start to incorporate these phrases into marketing? Because the other day I was talking to an agent, and I asked them, if they were going to try to do this, because they actually have a listing right now that they need to sell, that it fell out of contract at the inspection phase, and they need to move the home. And I said, are you going to try this virtual marketing and start doing virtual showings and virtual open houses? And they said, yeah, but how are we going to let the consumer know? How are we going to let other realtors know that virtual tours, that live virtual showings and live virtual open houses are available? And I said, the first thing we have to do is you can't use the term virtual tour. Virtual tour is old, pre-recorded. First thing you need to do is use the right terms. Live virtual showings, live virtual open houses. Then we need to incorporate it into marketing speak and talk about, do you Zoom? Ask me about live virtual showings and live virtual open houses. Ask me, click here to sign up and use that in your social media. So is that making sense? So number 2, after we start using the right terminology, we have to take that terminology over into the MLS marketing. And so right here, if you're on Billy, if you're on the call with us, Billy Williams in the agent services team, he's created some step-by-step guides for all of you here in these slides that teach you how in the 3 major MLSs in the United States, how to set up live virtual open houses and live virtual showings in Flex MLS, Paragon MLS, and Matrix MLS, which is by CoreLogic. So Billy, here, I'm going to look for you. I'm going to allow you to talk. Billy, are you there?
I'm here to talk. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, great. So we'll start with going through the Flex MLS. So all the MLSs started making updates and adding features to allow agents to market their properties virtually. So we'll start with the first Flex MLS. You'll basically it's the same um, steps as just adding a regular open house to your listing. You want to go to change listing in the add change section of the Flex MLS menu. You'll select the listing that you want and then select open house under the scheduled marketing activities section. There's going to be a drop down for the open house type, and you'll select virtual in there. And when you select virtual, there's going to be another field that'll show up that has a link URL. You want to paste the link URL for your live stream right there. And you want to make sure that when you are pasting the link that it's one of the okayed platforms that the MLS has. Otherwise, it won't recognize that it's a virtual open house, and that blue notification won't show up when other agents are searching for virtual open houses. So you definitely want to make sure whatever video streaming source you're using is approved by the MLS that you're a part of. And they also want to make sure, so yeah, that's the one, please note, only post links to live online events that will be held at a scheduled date and time. And they want to remind you that to post like pre-recorded videos and virtual tours in the videos and virtual tours section of listing instead. Basically, so that the MLS can recognize a live or distinct or differentiate a live link to a pre-recorded link.
Yeah, Billy. So I want to drive that home a little bit, because I've even seen some comments in the chat there about, pre-recording. The MLSs are making a very firm distinction between pre-recorded virtual tours and live virtual showings. And they want this new category to be live virtual open houses and live virtual showings. And you follow the 4-step process there in the Flex MLS. And it's important that you're using meeting software, where later on you're sending an invite out or you're posting an invite out, in the MLS or in Showing Time or in the notes. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And if they don't, they're not going to, if they put a traditional pre-recorded virtual tour in there, the MLS isn't going to like it. They're going to kick it out.
Yeah, they won't recognize it, and you won't get that the clickable link that agents can click on the link, and when they're looking through open houses, that will bring you to the live stream.
Yes. So real quick before we keep going on to Paragon and into Matrix MLS, I'm seeing some questions coming in on the chat where I can tell that people were not on last Friday's class, where we really went through these definitions of the right verbiage and the right terminology, the differences between the different types. So we will be sending out a PDF of last Friday's class. We also recorded it. We will put it in Real Smart Agent for all of you, so you can hear that overview that the old virtual tours are not the same as the new live virtual showings and live virtual open houses, which is why I'm making such a distinction about us using the right terminology. And I'll revisit them again, I think, here at the end. Coming up, we're going to be showing you the marketing materials. We're going to be showing you what to do on social media. We're going to be telling you where they're available, and then we'll be telling you the right verbiage to use in your posts. So keep it on going, Billy. Thank you. Next slide here for Flex MLS. You had some additional screens.
Yeah, so this is basically the screen that will, when agents are searching for open houses that are going on in their area, it'll show you right there on that top right graphic the link, how it'll present itself, and where the agent will be able to click to get access to that live virtual open house when it's going on. So it'll look, the search screen will bring up the list of properties that have open houses. You'll click in the detail tab next to the listing you like, and you'll see that they added that field open house link, and that's where your agents or buyers will access the live stream to your live virtual open house when you hold one.
Yes.
So yeah, those are just two screenshots of kind of how they'll appear in the MLS after you upload that, set up your live virtual open house.
Perfect. Okay, also other questions coming in on the chat about FaceTime, Zoom, etc. We'll be covering all that in a minute. Right now we're covering the MLSs. And again, to reiterate, step one, we have to use the right terminology and all use the same verbiage because we're trying to change customers' perceptions and realtors' perceptions. And we have to use the terms live virtual tour, live virtual showing, or, excuse me, not live virtual tour, live virtual showing, live virtual open house. Those are the terms we need to use. Paragon MLS is another MLS many of you in the country are on. So Billy, can you walk them through Paragon?
Yeah, so we got this from the CRL MLS, the California Regional MLS service. They posted this link for Paragon. So it's similar. All the MLSs are kind of similar that have this feature where it'll basically just be an additional step when you're creating your live virtual open house from creating like a standard open house. So in Paragon, you'll click on your listings once you're logged in, and then you'll click on maintain listings. Next will be select an action, and you'll want to click add edit open house. When you click add a new, so you'll be adding a new open house, you want to make sure that you check the live stream box that's on the top or in that rectangle. And then right up below it is where you'll paste the URL link to the live virtual open house stream. That once you have the stream or the URL link, you'll be able to post it there. And then you'll just go and add it, select the date and time as you would a regular open house.
Right.
And again, yeah, you just want to make sure that you're using one of the approved video streaming conferencing softwares that the MLS approves so that it recognizes that it's a live virtual link.
Right. And there's 12 different types of MLSs that were approved. We went over those last Friday, and those are also in the emails that come out from your MLSs. Typically, I can't speak for every MLS, but so far the MLSs I've seen, they're all standardizing on 12 different types of software. We're going to be teaching to about 4 of them because they really cover the majority of the population, those 4. And even some of the questions I'm seeing coming in on the chat, yes, those softwares are included and recognized by these MLSs. So this is the second screen, Paragon MLS, the second slide, additional screenshots. Anything that you need to talk about here, Billy?
No, basically the same, kind of just how it'll appear when agents are searching through open houses.
Right. Gotcha.
And how
okay.
How they'll be able to click on that link.
Yeah, and then lastly here, this is Matrix MLS, which is provided by CoreLogic. So between Matrix, Paragon, and Flex MLS, literally 95% of the country's MLSs are covered between those 3 MLSs. That's why we wanted to show you all 3 step-by-step guides. So here's the steps right here. Billy, you want to go over those real quick, and then we'll get to showing time.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, it's pretty similar to the last 2. The only difference what Matrix has is that they give you 2 open house types. And they're actually currently the only 2 that I'm pretty sure are available right now in Matrix, which is virtual public and virtual broker. So if you want to have a live virtual public open house that anyone can, any buyer wants to view or attend, you can have it that, so it's a public open house. But if you want to hold one just strictly for like a broker open house, you can do that as well. So they just have 2 separate types of virtual open houses available. And again, you'll paste your streaming link next to the open house type. And then you'll enter in the date and time and how you'd want it, and time of the live open house.
All right, perfect. Okay, so moving on, showing time. Many of the MLSs have showing time included as well, and then that's where you're actually coordinating how you sync up with the other realtor when you actually want to set the appointment. So I have a couple screens, and you found a really good virtual guide, which we're going to email out to everyone the link about how, let's say that a realtor reaches out and they want a virtual showing or they want to participate in the virtual open house. Can you talk to them a little bit about showing time?
Yeah, so showing time is basically how, buyer's agents will look to see how they can set up showings connected with the MLS. So MLS or showing time is added features where you want to be able to go and go into your edit profile, and you can add a mass note in your profile, and you can add that all showings will be done virtually, just so they know, and you can paste in that section your video conferencing information. So when a buyer's agent wants to schedule a showing, live virtual showing, they'll be able to select a virtual showing through the type of appointment they'd like to set.
Right.
And then also there's different features that you kind of want to mess with when you're in showing time. One is you want to change the appointment type to courtesy call or go and show. This way, they don't have to wait to receive that confirmation, that email confirmation that you confirmed it. It'll automatically give them the live video conferencing link once they set up the showing. And then under access details of the listing, you want to change, you can change how the agent can access the home to other. And then instead of like the lockbox code, you'll paste your URL link into the access notes field there. And then also there's also other options that you can select to notify your seller when an agent confirms a showing. So then your seller will know that there's a showing and that they can use the software or the video conferencing software to use their device to walk you through the home as you're in the live virtual showing.
So the thing I think that's important for everyone to know, for example, like Flex MLS, showing time is inside Flex MLS and other MLSs. And so if it doesn't have to be complicated, you've literally walked them through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything they need to know about how to do this. And we will be sending out this PDF to all of you, as well as the link if you want to watch this little video from showing time. And then it just works the way that it typically would work before, with emails going back and forth. It just that it is now these are live virtual showings instead. Also, Billy, you found a step-by-step showing time guide. It's a 2-page front and back virtual showing guide, which we will share and send this out to everyone that attended or registered for this event today as well. So you'll have a copy of this PDF. All right. All right. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. Whoops. All right. So if you have any questions, type them in the chat, Billy. If you can see them and maybe answer them, that would be great. And then I'll come back, and I see some other questions. I'll come back at the end and answer some. So, you know, the big thing is, yes, the big overall concept is that what you see there on the right-hand side of the screen, the home seller is walking through their home, or in some states where it's not as restrictive, the realtor is walking through the home live, and the potential buyers, the buyer's agents, and the seller's agents are all participating remotely from other locations. So we're all still following the social distancing guidelines, and in some cases, shelter-in-place rules. So that's the concept. We use the right verbiage. We go into the MLS and we begin to market it the right way with other realtors and agents. Well, now we need to market it out to realtors and consumers. And so the marketing team, which if everyone could give them a big clap, you know, round of applause, they've worked so hard just in the last week to pull all this together, to be the first in the industry, really, to be on the leading edge of this. They've created a whole new website that answers consumer questions, and it's homesmart.com/consumer-virtual-open house. And on this page, this is intended that if you're having trouble explaining this to a customer about what is virtual buying or selling, or what is a virtual showing, what is a virtual open house, this is what the page looks like. And so let's buy and sell your home without having to step outside your front door. So if you scroll down on this page, it talks about what is an open house. Now, since then, I've asked the marketing team to add in the terminology I'm asking all of you to use. What is a live virtual open house? What is a live virtual showing? What is a live virtual realtor tour? You know, what is an old virtual tour? What is a live virtual listing appointment? So again, we're going to be consistent with our verbiage, but when you click into each one of these areas, it answers the questions for the consumer. And it's a way to explain to them how they can hold a live virtual open house or a live virtual tour for my home. And these are the agents that can help you actually do this. So this is step 1 in the consumer info. Step two is obviously signage. I saw some questions coming through about, well, the great thing about other traditional open houses, it brought in that drive-by traffic, or nowadays, many cases, it's that walk-by traffic while people are sheltering in place at home, but maybe they're walking by a pet and they're walking by, a home, obviously practicing social distancing. But the concept here is that you can all now add a virtual, an H-frame sign that complements your yard sign already in the front yard. And on that H-frame sign, we'll have the correct verbiage: live virtual showing available, live virtual open house, call me or text me for information. So here the marketing team again has put together some marketing pieces for you all. And you can see them there on the screen. The one on the left is a 24 by 24 Coroplast designed H-frame sign. Excuse me. It goes in the ground right next to your traditional yard sign. So you have an 18 by 24 version or a 24 by 24 version. This signs are intended to be made out of Coroplast, so they use those H-frames. It accompanies the existing yard sign. It does not require any customization. The concept here is that all of you can do this very quickly right away and do this inside of, so we can, like this week, be ordering these signs and using these, and you're communicating to the neighborhood, these live virtual showings are available, because what we do is begin to educate the consumer and make them aware that live virtual showings are available. These the signs are available inside the Marketing Design Center, which is inside of Real Smart Agent. We have not, they will be available. These are not available live right now. The marketing team, I got to ask for all of you to please be patient. We will notify you all the minute that they're available. The artwork got done over the weekend. We have them being printed up, and we will make them available to all of you as soon as possible. But again, we're talking about how do we market? Well, we market in the MLS. The second thing is we market with the yard signs. Here's what the virtual open house yard signs would look like, so that you can post, again, an H-frame sign, a live virtual open house. Call or text the number on the yard sign for details on attending a virtual open house for this property. And then you would use that verbiage in social media, which we're going to talk about next. For those of you that would love a hanger or a rider, instead, we've created a 12-inch tall by 24-inch wide virtual hanger or rider that can go on top or below your yard sign that says the same thing: live virtual showings available. The live open house will only be in the H-frame sign. But yes, these marketing pieces are created. We're going to be getting them all out to you. Additionally, the virtual open house weekend, National Virtual Open House Weekend coming soon graphic. And now let's talk about live virtual showing social media graphics. So you see up on the screen right here, I'm going to show you 5 different versions of live virtual showings social media graphics. So this one right here is now offering Facebook Live on Facebook Live virtual showings. This one talks about FaceTime Live virtual showings now available. This one talks about virtual showings available on Google Meet. This one talks about live virtual showings via Zoom, and it's got a laptop image there. This one talks about live realtor tours on Zoom or FaceTime, and live virtual open house social media graphics via FaceTime Live. So now what it is they're the same graphics, but one was talking about virtual showings. Now I've switched them and I'm talking about virtual open houses. So this is live virtual open house social media graphics, live virtual open house via FaceTime Live, now offering live virtual tour on Google Meet, now offering live virtual open houses via Zoom, and now offering live virtual open houses on Zoom and FaceTime. And then additionally, when we begin to offer realtor tours, or right now we've created 5 graphics. I just didn't want to take you through 5 slides. I put all 5 on one. There are 5 different graphics for Facebook Live, for FaceTime Live, for virtual Google Meet, for Zoom, and Zoom and FaceTime. So you can see those are right there that you can use to market your properties to realtors. So I hope you like what you're seeing so far. Now we're arming you with signage. We're arming you with social media graphics. Those social media graphics can also be used for e-marketing, email marketing, as well as social media. And then we have signage. And then obviously we have the MLS software. So again, earlier, let's talk about social media marketing and the social media strategy. So part number 4 here of marketing, how to market virtual. So the first thing that we need to do is, again, we use all of this right terminology, the correct terminology, when we're making posts. So this weekend, Jim Sparkman up in Oregon loved what he posted about why not tour the home from the comfort of your couch. What I would do is I would add, this home is available for a live virtual showing via FaceTime or Zoom. And I would add that into my post to make it even more powerful. Kwesi Akal in Philadelphia. This weekend, he posted about moving his virtual first-time homebuyer workshops live. So here it is. He's offering these first-time homebuyer workshops, and he's offering them virtual and offering them live. And then he made a social media post about it. Emilio out in Rhode Island is one of our top teams and top agents. Emilio, appreciate everything that you do. I saw this weekend you were marketing on Facebook about showing time, beach mansion. And again, I would add the terminology live virtual showing available on this property or live virtual open house available on this property, and set that up and make it work. So what you're doing is you're using the right verbiage, you're marketing it in the MLS, you're using then all the social media graphics that I just showed you, and now you would post it on social using these graphics and using these terms. So again, another term to maybe use while you're out there on social media. Last Friday, I was talking to the class about how Jimmy Kimmel every night, it was Jimmy Fallon. He used the phrase like, do you Zoom? Or they were talking about Zooming like 12 or 14 different times. He had the Beastie Boys on and they were all on via Zoom. So the phrase, do you Zoom, is becoming a little bit of a term. So in social media, why not make a post that says, do you Zoom? Ask me about live virtual showings, live virtual open houses from the comfort of your own home. And then post those social media graphics I just had for you, as well as this one right here from last week. If you choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. But going back again to all these social media graphics back here, right here, you use these with your social media posts and say, now available from the comfort of your own home. So last thing here to cover today, step number 5 in marketing your home is to use the hashtag strategy. Now, this is something, if we all do this together, this can be very powerful. I want to explain that even though the MLSs are allowing virtual showings and virtual tours, those fields are not searchable right now. So when the agents return the searches, what they do is they have all the open houses, and then next to the ones that are virtual, there's a little blue icon. Well, the MLSs, we were talking to them about making those fields searchable, but we don't know when they're going to get that done. But in the meantime, right now, we want to hit the ground running this week. So if we all start using consistent hashtags on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, then it's like having an MLS search when people search for those hashtag searches. So hashtags work on Facebook. They definitely work on Instagram, and they work on YouTube. Now, one thing that's important about hashtags on YouTube, only 3 hashtags at a time are allowed on YouTube. But look at the screenshot on the right-hand side. He has 3 hashtags above the title of the name. Those are the searchable hashtags that are on YouTube. So, and if you use the 3, All three will work. If you use 4 or more, YouTube's going to ignore all the hashtag searches. So the object is that all of us collectively together start using the following hashtags on all our social media posts. So step number 5 is to follow our hashtag strategy, all of us globally. And in doing so, we'll be able to market to the consumers and market to other realtors. Now, right now, the MLSs are making it where we can show and designate a property as a virtual open house, a live virtual open house property, or a live virtual showing property, but those fields are not searchable in the MLSs yet. So in order to make them, make our listings searchable, we need to be posting them on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, and using a consistent hashtag so we can communicate that to all our customers, and then all our listings will come up on Instagram, YouTube, and on Facebook using these hashtags. And so the hashtag, you'll see up on the screen here, you can even add up to 3 hashtags in YouTube. Never add more than any 3. And so only use 3 on Facebook, on Instagram, or excuse me, on YouTube. Only use 3 on YouTube. On Facebook and Instagram, you can use as many hashtags as you want, but in YouTube, you can only use 3. So we talked about on all social media using a consistent hashtag methodology. And I talked about using hashtag HomeSmart Live, number 1. Number 2, hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual showings. And then I talked number 3 about adding hashtag live virtual showings AZ, or your state, or California, and using your 2-state abbreviation at the end. The mistake I made yesterday is mistakenly I told you to put a dash in between, and a dash will actually break the search string. It has to be an underscore, but since then too, in working with all of you and working with the consumers, it's easier. We all know how hashtags work, where you string words together with no spaces, no dashes. And so it's easiest just to go with HomeSmart Live, virtual showings, and then your 2-state abbreviation as the 3rd hashtag. So if we all put in hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual showings, or hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual showings AZ, or CA for California, RI for Rhode Island, TX for Texas, at the very end, no spaces, no dashes, then these will work. And then we need to change that as well when we're doing open houses. So what we need to talk about is hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual open houses, or hashtag HomeSmart Live virtual open houses your state. Eventually, we would like to help take this live to the rest of the real estate industry and talk about hashtag real estate live virtual showings, hashtag real estate live open house, or live virtual open houses. But for now, we want to focus just on us as a company and have us focus on our open houses and our virtual showings. So, do you like what you're seeing? Do you see? I'm going to do a recap for all of you now about marketing. What's our marketing to-do list? Tomorrow we'll walk you through Zoom, FaceTime, all the different software. We'll live drive, go show you how to set up the appointments, how to set up the open houses, to create the different links and to be able to start to use them. But right now we're focusing on the marketing. We need to use consistent verbiage, all of us. We need to use the same verbiage. We need to market properties in the MLS. We need to use all of the new marketing assets that the marketing team has created. So the H signs, the writers, the social and e-graphics. Use the consumer webpage the marketing team created, etc. And participate in the social strategy. So post. Use those items and the verbiage and make social media posts and start posting on a regular basis. Develop or participate in the hashtag strategy. So we're all using the same 3 consistent hashtags. And then market all of the above items to realtors and consumers. You have to understand some realtors don't even know this is available. So we need to market it to realtors. We also need to market it out available to consumers. So I know I threw a lot at you today. That's a great summary though for all of you. Remember, If you can choose your spouse online, you can choose your house online. So what I'd love you to do, I want to thank all of you for participating in Smart Agent Ideas. Go over to Smart Agent Ideas, post your comments on today's and all this new marketing. The marketing team is also going to post all these graphics in social media for you, or in Smart Agent Ideas for you to download. So you'll be able to download the social media graphics right from there. You'll be able to download the e-graphics and download the pages showing the consistent verbiage. We'll post it all right there online for all of you. So now I'm going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to go back through the questions. If you want to retype your questions so it comes in, if I haven't answered your question so far in the chat, I'll take a couple minutes and answer questions for everyone and get some comments here. So give me a thumbs up, not everybody, but let me know if you like the social media graphics and the signage that we have for you. Question here, what do you do about vacant homes if we can't go in any homes in Colorado? Okay, so I want to answer that one. If you can't go in any homes in Colorado, the realtor can't walk through, and if there is no homeowner in the home, then we have a little bit of a challenge. The team is working right now with the state to see, right now they just are not allowing any realtors inside to take the, to do the footage. However, if it is occupied, you just need to do this marketing and just use these virtual tour live virtual showings and have the homeowner walk through the home. Next question. If seller is doing live virtual walkthrough, is the seller speaking directly to the agent or the buyer? We covered this yesterday or Friday's class. No. The realtor, the selling agent, needs to instruct the home seller, please do not speak. You're not licensed. You really shouldn't speak, but I just need you to be right now my hands and feet and my eyes, and you turn the camera around and you walk through the home and listen to where the home buyer wants you to walk. And I actually recorded a home, a virtual transaction, which we're going to put the link in for all of you, and we'll go over tomorrow, of actual agent, you know, the selling agent and the buyer's agent were the only two ones that were conversing. And even though it was a four-way, up on the screen, you see a screen showing prospective buyers, a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, and the home seller all on one Zoom or virtual, live virtual showing. The only two talking were the home seller and home seller's agent, rather, and the home buyer's agent. So someone asked, where do we post 10 times a week on social? On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, on your Facebook business page. Anywhere that you have a social media account, please, you know, that's where you need to be posting, and you're just informing your sphere of influence, you're passing on good information, and you're using all these brand new marketing tools. So question someone asked, I love this concept, however, the old open house brought in drive-by leads. This helps agents get leads and keep on track. How will this help with a live virtual open house, or will it only benefit the listing agent? That is a great question. And the purpose of the hashtags is to help buyer's agents as much as you can help set the agents with the listings. If we all start using those hashtags, the buyer's agents will begin to be able to market these properties to their buyers that they're working with and say, I can set up for you a virtual live showing, a live virtual showing via FaceTime or Zoom. And so that's how you then, the buyer's agent, can still be working with your buyers and get them to start touring some of these homes. And then you're the one that's on that, that Zoom meeting, and you're the one that's talking with the selling agent, and yet all four parties are on the call. So the selling agent, the buyer's agent, the seller, and the buyer, the prospective buyer. But how it happens is because everybody's using the hashtags, and then you can pull different properties that are available on that hashtag and forward those properties to your clients and start setting up live virtual showings. Did I answer your question, Carol? If you did, answer it in the Q&A. Okay. Will you know when someone visits your live virtual open house? Yes, we're going to be explaining that all tomorrow. When a customer comes in, you're going to see those screens and them pop up on your screen. Even if they have a little icon that there's no photograph in there, or if they've shielded their identity, you're still going to see and know that someone else joined the call. The other thing is that inside of Zoom, you can make Zoom beep and alert when someone enters the Zoom meeting. You can also make it that they have to go into a waiting room. For example, if you're showing someone else the home, someone sits in the waiting room and then you bring them in from the waiting room. So there's all kinds of different options for you within the technology already that's out there. You just have to start using it. Where are the social media posts to download on Real Smart Agent? We haven't yet posted them up in there. They will be posted yet today in Smart Agent Ideas and inside of Real Smart Agent. The marketing team just got done completing them, and they're going to be in both in the downloads area, and they will also be loaded inside of the Real Smart Agent, the Marketing Design Center. So there's multiple places where these are going to be included. If the file sizes are big enough, are okay, I will try to include them in links for all of you in the email that goes out as a follow-up from this session today. Okay, so is there a cost to Zoom for this? Zoom has a free account for all of you if you keep your Zoom under 40 minutes. So if you want to have full Zoom capability, be able to go for as long as you want, or 2 or 3 hours, and be able to record, it's $14.99 a month. But there is a free version as long as you keep your activity under 40 minutes. Someone asked, what happens when your seller is a senior and does not like videos or FaceTime? So I'm going to say that you just need to bring them along and don't give up, and try to get them to try and show them how easy Zoom is, or FaceTime, or whatever it might be. I've done this in the last 2 weeks with several people who are seniors who are not adept at using technology, but by sending a simple Zoom link and explaining to them and walking them through it, maybe 6 months ago, they would have been basically said, I'm not interested, I don't want to do it, and they wouldn't do it. But now, because everyone is being forced to shelter in place, it is becoming more socially acceptable, and people have been in their home for 3 weeks, and they are more adept at giving something a try. And case in point, last week my family did a Zoom happy hour, and my mother and father did not get on the call last week, but this week they got on the call, and their comment was, it was so easy. All we had to do was click a link. Because when we set the account up, we made it that the video automatically turned on, that their audio turned on, that it alerted us when they came in. We could help them. There's different settings. You can choose how to set it up your own way, but it actually is possible to make it easy. And someone said, can you FaceTime? Yes, you can FaceTime as well. And the same thing, my mom had a large, oversized iPad, and basically what happened was we I sent her a FaceTime, and she also got on the FaceTime call because it automatically just popped up on her iPad. So there's ways to get around it. Someone, Sherry Hopper, said, today I got a 78-year-old person to Zoom today, and she loved it. Took a bit to walk her through it, but it worked. Sherry in Colorado, awesome job. Thank you. And that's where agents can help other agents, can encourage each other. This is really happening now today. And so, don't give up. Just apply the principles we're covering in all 4 of these classes, and you can take your real estate virtual. Can you put up the website for consumers to better understand the virtual showings, the open house? I'll go back to that slide here real quick for all of you. It is right here. Oh, I got to go back through all the social media graphics. And right here, right there. It is homesmart.com/consumer-virtual-open-house. And that's where you can all go. And then here's when you scroll down a little bit more. And when you scroll down, there's the questions that are being added. This is going to be a living, breathing document. You'll notice that I'm telling you all to use verbiage of live virtual open house. And that's because some of the feedback we're getting from consumers and realtors about how we need to word things. The marketing team hasn't even had a chance to update this yet. I just gave them that feedback this morning. Imagine they'll be updating it very quickly. So just living, breathing, we're all going to be adapting and working with these social media graphics as well, and constantly updating. Someone just said, Diana Forsyth said, if our homes are vacant, then the listing agent can show, hold the open house correct. In many states, that is correct. For example, here in Arizona, yes, that is the case. The listing agent can be the one walking through the home, talking to the buyer's agent and showing the home to the buyer virtually. And then it's up to the buyer's agent whether or not the buyer talks or not on the FaceTime call. But you as realtors working with your buyers or your sellers, you should be instructing your agents about whether or not they're speaking on the call. And also follow in every instance your broker's guidelines and your broker's rules. Follow what your brokers say, not what a marketing guy says. So, all right. Can someone text the web address, the consumer info, please? I'll type it into the system. Yes, here. I'll type it into the chat. Let me put it into the chat here. Oh, someone already typed it in. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. Someone asked if I was going to go through the matrix MLS. I thought I did that, and you know what? I might have skipped that, or I forgot. Here's the matrix MLS right here. There are two slides, or one slide for matrix. CRMLS, Matrix Virtual Open House. Here are your 4 steps, and here is the screenshot for Matrix MLS. All right, other questions coming in? Any other questions that I missed? They've been flying by so fast. I apologize if I've missed them. We'll try to get back to them. Okay, this is a good point. In Colorado, we as listing agents cannot host the virtual open house even if the property is vacant, correct? That is the case at this current time. If you have pre-recorded footage of the open house prior to the restriction in place, one thing I have heard agents conducting live virtual open houses is that what they do is they set up the live virtual open house or the live virtual showing. And then when they have the customer on the Zoom call, they press play on the pre-recorded footage and they stop and start and stop and start, and they do not, it's not with pre-recorded music or pre-recorded voiceover. They're actually just playing the footage and talking to the customer live as they're going through the virtual tour. So even though the footage is pre-recorded, they're actually talking to the consumer live. And the MLSs are, to my knowledge, still considering that a live virtual open house because I'm inviting you into a Zoom meeting. So if you're lucky enough in Colorado to have had footage prior to, or the HomeSmart Smart Tour even, where you had pre-recorded footage, you could walk them through and just talk to them live as you're showing the HomeSmart Smart Tour or the virtual tour, okay? But you are not allowed to enter the home in Colorado. But again, do not take my word for it. Follow your broker's advice in your state and in the state of Colorado. So Lynn, if you're on, chime in and make sure you tell everyone to follow what you say as the brokers. All right, let's see here some other questions. Thank you all for the kudos. Hope you appreciate all of this. Tomorrow's class is going to be about Zoom, and we're actually going to dig into the software. We're going to show you how to set an appointment, how to walk customers through all of the marketing, and we're actually going to even live drive if we can and show some live virtual open houses. Okay?